Boston, coming out, B-Town bigger, back on the check-in, on the turn-up, on the pop-up. Fuck with me.
Yeah, you need to check in, bro. You better tap in before you touch down here in Boston, bro. Boston, we need that paperwork ASAP. Pooh Sims just hit my line, bro. We need that paperwork ASAP. We're not playing no games, bro. Don't come out here, bro, unless you got that.
The situation escalated quickly when Cameron finally snapped, directing his frustration straight at Jim Jones and Mino, turning years of quiet tension into a loud, messy public fallout. This wasn't a random outburst or a clout-chasing moment. It was pressure that had been building for years, finally breaking through. Cam's frustration didn't sound playful or calculated. It came off personal, raw, and exhausted. The streets recognized that tone instantly. When someone speaks after holding their tongue for too long, every word hits harder. And once Cam started talking, it was clear this wasn't about a single comment or one interview. It was about respect, loyalty, and unresolved history that never truly healed.
Oh, now they cool all of a sudden. They didn't realize they had this much in common. What y'all bitches got in common? Y'all ain't got nothing in common. What you, y'all
want your attention, man.
Huh?
He wants your attention.
I'm giving it to him for the 5 minutes. I gave him the 5 minutes. I just gave him the 5 minutes. They got it, man. They got it. I'm not going to say nothing else about it. Because when I see it, I promise you, like I say, I paused it, but it's just like a little bit. Look at these niggas. Yo, I swear to God, just be laughing.
What made everything even more chaotic was the timing. Right as Cam was unloading, Maxby was moving in the opposite direction, calling for calm and trying to squash the beef before it turned uglier. That contrast only made the situation feel more tense. One side was emotional and explosive. The other was worn down and ready for peace. Instead of cooling things off, Max's attempt to mediate seemed to highlight just how deep the damage really was. When peace gets rejected, it usually means the wounds are still wide open, and that's exactly how this felt. Cam's words carried the weight of betrayal. He wasn't just calling out actions, he was calling out energy. Who moved funny? Who stayed silent? Who switched sides when it mattered most? In hip-hop, silence can be louder than insults, and the culture picked up on that instantly. This wasn't about social media likes. It was about lines crossed behind closed doors finally being addressed in public. And once those lines are exposed, there's no rewinding the tape.
Real with you and shit, like when you first came out, me like a lot of people, I guess we assumed that you was Max B replacement and shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You had to deal with that, right? Coming up, right?
I still deal with it here and there.
Word.
You know what I mean? Because he's a talented dude. But what happened was, I was doing music before, here and there, you know what I mean? But my man Ash or whatever. But I kept getting locked up, going away.
Right.
So when Zeke came home, he was like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, you got that little singing melody thing. I'm not a singer.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But like, you got that little melody thing going on. Let's do music. You know what I mean? They gave me a deal, cut me a nice check, like, get paid, nigga. So
right.
I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of this jail shit, man. Like, skip bids and never been locked up like no 5 years and no shit like that. But I just got tired of getting locked up. You know what I mean? So I did the music, and then
Fans watching could tell this wasn't scripted or calculated. The anger felt real. The disappointment felt old. Cam didn't sound like someone trying to win a moment. He sounded like someone exhausted from pretending things were cool when they clearly weren't. That honesty caused everything to spiral quickly. When truth comes out unfiltered, it doesn't come out clean. It comes out messy, emotional, and impossible to ignore. By the end of the first wave, the culture knew this wasn't a quick back and forth. This was a reckoning. A long-standing Dipset fracture reopening in front of everyone. And once history resurfaces, it doesn't politely go back underground. It demands attention.
Actually, I came home, I think Max came home around the same time, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know their situation. I really wasn't, you know what I mean? It was just me and Zeke going in the studio along with the rest of the 730 or whatever.
Right.
And we was doing our thing. I remember one day, we was in the Jewel studio, and Jewel was like, you and Max should do a duo, like a duet. You know what I mean? And that's how me and Max got cool or whatever, and we did the Henny song, you know what I mean? Like,
oh, so y'all had a chance to work together. People don't talk about the positives. They just try to harp on the negative shit.
Yeah, the negative sides, man. Like,
right.
We did the Henny record. Max did the hook. And we planned on doing some other music, but you know, niggas fell out.
Right.
He had his issues with Jim or whatever.
Right.
And then, you know, that's like kind of home team. Not kind of, it is home team. So once you fall out with him, it's like,
Shit.
I met you through somebody else. So it's, you know what I mean? We don't really have a problem, but I can't, you know what I mean?
As the clip spread, the conversation shifted from shock to analysis. People realized this wasn't just Cam versus Jim, it was Cam versus how the situation had been handled for years. Mayo getting pulled into the blast only added fuel, suggesting alliances had quietly shifted while respect was still assumed publicly. In street code, assumptions get people hurt, not physically here, but reputationally. Cam's anger sounded like someone realizing too late that loyalty wasn't mutual. That kind of realization stings worse than any diss. The culture also noticed how calm Jim and Mayo appeared compared to Cam's explosion, and that contrast mattered. Calm can look mature, but it can also feel dismissive when someone else feels unheard. Fans debated whether Cam overreacted or finally reacted. Most lean toward finally, because when someone reaches that level of frustration, it usually means they tried handling things privately first. When private efforts fail, public outcomes follow. That's just how it goes. Meanwhile, Max B's position complicated everything. His push for peace didn't feel fake or performative, it felt exhausted, like someone who's seen enough damage and doesn't want more scars added to the story. But peace requires all sides to be ready, and Cam clearly wasn't. When one side isn't ready, peace talks turn into pressure points. Instead of uniting people, they expose fractures. And that's exactly what happened here.
For fans that's older fans and know all of us and know a little bit of history about what used to go on in the past, which I don't really bring up. Even like when I did the interview with Max, I'm not going to bring up no old problems he had. I'm not saying anything to get him in any new problems. I'm not doing anything to get him back sent to the penitentiary or jail or whatever the case may be, because some people like, Cam, you ain't asked this, and Cam, you ain't asked that. The man was home 3-4 days and did an interview with me to where he didn't have to. You know, even though that's my brother, I know we grew up together and all that shit, but you know, that nigga trying to get to the chicken. The nigga just got out of jail doing 17 years to get him in some future beef, bring up old beef, internet beef, something like that, period, or to get him to say some shit to where he gets sent back to jail. He's on 5 years parole, if I'm not mistaken. But I said all that to say this, is that for those that don't know, and we're not going to get too much into it, you know, I know y'all two may had a little history in the past where it wasn't that good, but Max told me to tell you all that shit is old. He fuck with you, as much love. He was before he came home, he was in jail watching Talk with Flea, and he loved the shows. He just wanted to let you know it's all good on his behalf. So we not stirring up no old beef, and he just wanted to let you know, and let me know to let you know that everything's all good on his end, man. Period.
That's what's up. And shout out the whole Raw Way, New Jersey. I did hear that. They talk with Fleet fans and they watch.
Fans noticed how Max's calm made Cam's anger look even sharper. But sharp doesn't always mean wrong. Sometimes it means overdue. The culture understands that emotions don't follow neat timelines. Just because years pass doesn't mean wounds have closed. Sometimes they're just covered up. Cam ripped that cover off, and once it's gone, everyone sees what's underneath. This moment also reopened old Dipset debates. Who carried who? Who really held things down? Who benefited more? Those conversations never truly ended, they just went quiet. Cam's explosion gave them oxygen again. And oxygen doesn't create fire, it reveals it. The fire was already there. It just needed air. By this point, the situation had crossed into something deeper than entertainment. It became a case study in how unresolved history poisons present relationships. The culture wasn't laughing anymore, they were watching closely, because this felt like a turning point. Either things would finally be addressed honestly, or the divide would become permanent. And permanent splits change legacies.
You know, ask somebody met Mayo. Mayo gonna downplay because they cool now. He tried to press Mino one day because Mino first came out. He had a little record dissing the rappers. I don't know he's dissing, he said his name. So Jim plus see Mino one day and was like, yo, what's up with all that saying my name? Mano said, who the f you talking to? Oh, you think I wanted that? You out your motherfucking mind? Now they the lobby. I mean, they do something to put pressure on you. You sit there and work it out. But when you got a little genuine heart for you and all that, cool, that's the pattern.
All right, so what happened when
So the song he's talking about is a song that put me in the game. It was a song called Rumors, where I was talking about all the rumors in the industry. So just for clarity purposes. And the thing about that is that I mentioned him in the song.
As the dust settled, the narrative matured into a deeper discussion about accountability and emotional truth. This wasn't about who yelled the loudest, it was about who felt unheard the longest. Cam's frustration came across as layered, not impulsive. Every sentence felt tied to something older, something unresolved that had been sitting beneath the surface while everyone else moved on publicly. That's dangerous in any relationship, especially ones built on brotherhood and shared history. Brotherhood cracks don't heal on their own. they widen when ignored. The streets respected that Cam didn't sugarcoat anything. Sugarcoating keeps peace, but it kills honesty. Honesty disrupts peace, but it clears the air. Cam chose honesty. That choice made the situation uncomfortable, but discomfort is often necessary before anything real can happen. Instead of running from it, the culture leaned into that discomfort, and that showed growth. Growth doesn't always look pretty. Mino's involvement added another layer, suggesting this wasn't just an internal Dipset issue anymore. Once outsiders, or perceived outsiders, get involved, emotions spike. Cam's reaction implied lines were crossed that couldn't be brushed off as simple misunderstandings. Whether that perception was accurate or not didn't matter. Perception drives reaction, and here, perception was loud. Max B's continued call for peace stood out even more as things escalated. His stance never changed, and that consistency earned respect, even from people who didn't agree with his approach. Wanting peace in the middle of chaos isn't weakness, it's fatigue. Fatigue from watching the same cycles repeat. But cycles don't break unless someone disrupts them. Cam disrupted. Max B tried to mend. Jim and Mayo stayed steady. That triangle created the mess. Fans began asking bigger questions. Can old crews ever truly heal, or does success just cover cracks until pressure exposes them again? This situation leaned toward the latter. Time alone doesn't fix issues, conversations do. And when conversations are avoided too long, they turn into explosions. This was that explosion. By this point, the story wasn't about taking sides. It was about understanding dynamics. Everyone involved looked human, emotional, flawed, real. That humanity made the moment feel authentic, not staged. And real moments stick longer than viral ones. The culture felt that weight and treated it accordingly. In the end, this wasn't just a messy blow-up. It was a long-delayed confrontation finally happening in public. And once that door opens, it can't be closed quietly. Cam's explosion forced conversations that had been avoided for years. Jim and Mayo being named forced clarity. Max B's push for peace reminded everyone what's at stake when history goes unresolved. Every role mattered. Every reaction told a story. The culture walked away with a clearer understanding of why certain relationships never fully healed, not because of one argument, but because of years of silence, assumptions, and unspoken resentment. Those things don't disappear. They stack. And when they stack high enough, one spark sets everything off. That spark happened here. This moment didn't offer easy resolutions. No hugs. No instant peace. And that's okay. Real situations don't wrap up cleanly. They leave questions hanging. They force reflection. They demand honesty going forward. Whether that honesty leads to repair or separation remains to be seen. But pretending everything is fine is no longer an option. What's undeniable is that this situation permanently shifted the energy. Fans will watch future moves differently now. Interviews will be dissected. Collaborations will be questioned. Silence will be read closely. That's the aftermath of a real fallout, not chaos, but awareness. If this breakdown helped you understand why this moment hit so hard and why it mattered beyond the headlines, hit that like button and subscribe so you stay locked in when the next chapter of this story unfolds.